Hello, everybody. I'm sorry for the small delay. My name is Dr. Yael Rosen, and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the Biomedical Engineering Faculty and the Technion to the BME-Hack competition. The BME-Hack is an educational event, a part of the EuroTech Day, organized in collaboration with T-Hub, the Technion Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. The event includes 50 students from the EuroTech University Alliance, École Polytechnique from France, Eindhoven University of Technology from Netherlands, Technical University of Munich, Germany, and the Technion Israel Institute of Technology. During this one-day event, the students worked in multinational and multidisciplinary teams with the support of over 20 mentors on 10 biomedical challenges, which were proposed and selected by the participants. This competition is the final stage of the event in which they will present the product of this one-day activity. Our judges for this competition are Dr. Jonas Schmidt, Managing Director of the Venture Lab Healthcare in the Technical University of Munich, Germany, Zohar Gendler, Managing Partner and CEO of NGT Incubator in Israel, Professor Shulamit Levenberg from the Faculty of Biomedical Engineering, Technion Israel, Dr. Efrat Shefer, the President of Philip Israel, and Liat Zoref, the Director of R&D Collaborations and Acceleration at Biosense Webster, J&J Company, Israel. The panel of judges will rate the team's presentations during the event, and the winning team will be declared at the end of the event. At the end of the presentation, we'll also invite you all to vote for audience favorite team. We'll put it on Zoom and on Facebook Live. So I would like now to invite team 1 to present. You can share your presentation. Keep in mind that each team should have hard 5 minutes. So stay on time.
Hi, can I share my screen from team 1?
You should be able to share your screen. Can you? Do you need help?
Yeah, I can share my screen. Okay. A very good evening to all. I, on behalf of Team 1, working on artificial skin, would like to present to you our startup, Epiphilia, which is an individualized skin recovery after serious burn injuries. Every day, more than 30,000 people suffer burns worldwide. Burn wounds need to be protected in order to prevent bacterial infection and dehydration. We would therefore like to help individuals recover from second-degree burns and reconstruct the skin. This is how a second-degree burn looks like. In simple words, it basically affects 2 layers of the skin, the epidermal, which is the top layer, and the bottom layer, that is the dermal layer. These are some of the drawbacks of current solutions that are present in the market on which we would like to improvise upon. So faster healing, individualized approach, and a widely applicable one. So we offer a 3D printed hydrogel for restoring the skin's original glory. Our product is based on these characteristics. So it is affordable, biodegradable, minimally invasive, protects wounds, and most importantly, it is individualized. The procedure involves an on-demand supply of individualized printing of skins, which is followed by providing different options in terms of the pigmentation by controlling the amount of the pigment and different compositions. So based on the size, the material properties and chemical composition. This is further followed by application of the hydrogel to the patient. This is our technology prototype. So this is the 3D printer that we would like to use. And this is the raw material that would be added to the printer. To make it more clear, I would like to explain it in detail with the help of our scaffold prototype. So the scaffold comprises of the uppermost top epidermal layer, which is curated with silver and PDGF-BB co-loaded bilayer. And this basically is used to have, because it has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties to protect the superficial layer of the skin. This is followed by an individual pigmentation layer with melanocyte stimulating hormone. So we can control levels of melanocyte stimulating hormone in the lipid bilayer in order to control the melanin content. And then we also have a scaffold matrix, which comprises of glucose aminoglycan, which hydrates the skin, and collagen, which provides a firm and smooth skin. This is followed by the major component, which is alginate. So it is derived from brown algae, and we chose alginate because it is biodegradable, biocompatible, and also easy to scale up in the laboratory. This alginate would be infused with VEGF and EGF growth factors that promote vascularization and cellularization. And then we also add the BFGF factor, which basically promotes the growth of melanocytes that release the hormone melanin for pigmentation of the skin. Talking about the market and the target customers, so we would first like to target the United States. And our product would therefore require approval from the FDA. And we chose United States because it has a large customer base and more than 60,000 hospitals, and has a tremendous focus on the plastic surgery department. The market size seems to be huge. So there are about 1.1 million burn injury patients in the US every year that require 50,000 hospitalizations. And our product therefore expects about 4,000 users per year. This is our business model. So we basically have a 3D printer that prints our scaffolds of artificial skin, and we sell these printers to the hospitals and we also would like to send a technician along in order to explain the using of the printer to the medical staff to help them get trained in its operation. And the hospital pays on the basis of the printable gels. So the amount of gels that are printed, the pay is based on that. And we also have a 24/7 customer support service to deal with any kind of technical issues that the hospital staff may encounter. Our aim is to become a full service provider for hospitals. This is a quick overview of our competitor analysis. So this is our product, Epiphilia, in comparison to two leading solutions that are already present in the market, Integra and Nanomedics. So if you can see that here, Epiphilia provides a patient-centric approach in comparison to these two, because we have added certain customized materials. We can also control the porosity, the density of our matrix. We have added certain antimicrobial agents to our superficial layer in order to prevent for certain infections, which Integra does not offer. And that makes our product patient-centric.
You have to accelerate. You have over 5 minutes.
Okay, coming to the market strategy, we would start with laboratory testing, where whether it is safe in the body, which approximately might take about 6 months time, followed by clinical testings and follow-ups, which could take about 8 months, followed by FDA approvals, and we expect this to happen in about 8 months time because alginate is known to be a really biocompatible and affordable material, and due to its safety and efficacy. And finally, we would like to partner with hospitals to sell our product. This is a quick overview of the market potential calculated on the basis of the raw material that we require, the 3D printer, the gel, and the customer support. Coming towards the end, I would like to say that we, through our product, we provide tailor-made, easy-to-use, individualized skin for better burn treatment in order to achieve a tangible effect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have 1 minute for questions.
I'll be happy to ask. Can you please, just clarify or pinpoint what's your unique advantage? I mean, one thing that is novel over the other competitors?
I would say the antimicrobial layer, which we offer on the epidermal layer, which is not offered by Integra, is the novel component in our.
Okay, thanks.
And for now, in comparison to nanomedics, I would like to say that nanomedics only helps the skin. It doesn't rebuild the skin completely, but because we are adding growth factors, we are directly focusing on rebuilding the skin properties.
Furthermore, we can also add the pigmentation as well as determine the size of the patch that needs to be produced, which can be easily produced with our 3D printing system. And for example, if patients have any allergies, etc., then the patch can also be individualized.
Thank you very much. We'll move forward to team 2.
No. Hello.
And 12. Hi, hello everyone. We are the Early Alzheimer's Diagnosis team, and we are called Memorize, and today we will tell you about our project. So, as I was saying, the numbers speak for themselves. So 1 out of 9 people above the age of 65 have Alzheimer's disease, and the current diagnosis stage we're able to diagnose Alzheimer's is 3 or 4, when the only stage that it is able to somehow postpone it or better the lifestyle of the patient is stage 1. As well as you can also see that early diagnosis can save approximately $8 trillion US. So our solution is an eye tracking algorithm. It uses a simple phone camera that is available in every pocket and not too complicated AI and eye movement tracking. The bottom line is that actually eye movement tracking can pretty accurately diagnose Alzheimer's and all kinds of memory-related diseases with pretty great accuracy, up to like 80–85%. And here you can see that there's a lot of data and research that can go behind it and support it.
All right, and now the proof of concept of our idea is based on eye monitoring, which examines very small eye movements backed by a lot of studies. Here we can see one study, and it's a graph that's showing the control group comparing to the studying group, which has a mild cognitive implements, and the gaps are huge. This is only one of the studies. Of course, we have competition in the field, but as you can see in the table, there is some other companies, but there are lack of privacy, for example. There are lack of connection with the health provider, because our solution, an app that all patients can use, is transferring the data to the healthcare provider. And additionally to that, we are specifying the diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and the competitors are not doing so. Our business model is to sell our app to the medical care providers, which can be hospitals, which can be health insurance companies. We will get fees, annual fees for our services, and also per subscriptions per year. We value that the market is at least 30 million people a year, and it's going to grow every year because we're taking patients from the age of 45 and above. So every year the market is growing. And if we are charging $35 per patient, it's estimated for $1 billion per year. So the market is huge. We're expecting for the timeline that now that we are at the current funding first stage, we will have to raise $500,000 for developing the app and running the trials. And we're assuming that after 5 years, we will already start earning money and the program will run smoothly, hopefully. Our team is Lilach Barkat from the Technion, Julia Schultz from TUM University, Noam Dverian from the Technion, Sarah Tykes from the Technion, and me, Itamar from the Technion. And we will be happy to answer your questions now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
You're saying that you plan to sell it to hospitals and insurance companies, and they will give it for free to the patient. It's not a patient, to the person. And to whom? Everybody above age 40, 60, 80?
So our plan is to give this program for, as you said, to insurance companies and hospitals or health care system providers. They will include it in their services for their patients, for all patients above 45. It's a non-invasive check. It's gonna be once for 6 months, and it takes only around 5 minutes. You have to look at pictures. The camera is scanning the eye movements, and that's all. You forget about this check. It saves a lot of money, both for hospital, both for the health insurances, also for families that have to raise money to take care of their loved ones who got Alzheimer. So at the end of it, it's save more money than it costs.
Early diagnostic by how much? 2 years, 10 years?
We are intending to diagnose the Alzheimer at least 15 years before the major symptoms are occurring. We believe that according to the studies of eye movements, which are also unique in this field, we can detect early symptoms before the major ones are coming up.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a question if we still have time. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is actually a screening test. And we know that there is a patient compliance issue around screening tests. People that are healthy and feel well don't go to do tests. What's your approach to this problem?
Our approach is that it doesn't feel like a test. It's an app installed on your phone. You don't feel it, you don't see it until 6 months are passing. And then it pops up and tells you, please advocate 5 minutes, look at some pictures, don't do nothing, and close the app for the rest of the year. All the data is coming straightly to your physician. It's very friendly to use. And it's not a bother at all. You don't have to do anything except of answering the notification once for 6 months and close it for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much. Let's move forward to team 3. Stop share.
Okay, so good evening. I'm Mais from Team 3, and we're going to talk about being stroke ready. So what's a stroke? A stroke is just like a heart attack. It's sometimes called a brain attack. Most often, stroke occurs when blood flow to the brain stops because it's blocked by a clot. It's the second leading cause of death, responsible for approximately 11% of total deaths. That's 5.5 million people globally a year, according to a study done by the World Health Organization in 2019. Not only does the burden of stroke lie in high mortality, but the high morbidity also results in up to 50% of survivors being chronically disabled. In order to detect a stroke, we have to act fast. F for face, check if their face is fallen on one side. A for arms, can they raise both arms? S for speech, is their speech slurred? And T for time, call emergency as soon as possible. The need, we're monitoring stroke alerts 24/7 and seeking help when needed. We're targeting the group of people who have experienced mini strokes, TIAs, or strokes before. According to research done by World Health Organization, this accounts for 9 million people worldwide a year. And now my colleague is going to walk you through the solution and technology we came up with.
Thank you, Mace, for that nice introduction. Now that you have an idea of the incidence of stroke and how it can affect the people suffering from it, we are going to suggest you a solution. So the diagnosis of stroke is done in 3 steps. The first is assessing the history of the person and doing a physical exam. The second is imaging, and finally doing lab tests. With our solution, we want to target the first step by providing home monitoring 24/7. And how will this work, you may ask? Our technology is based on detecting bioimpedance signature across the brain by sending radio frequency waves. It is basically consists of transmitter and receiver calls, which will be incorporated in everyday use objects such as glasses or a beanie. And the main goal is to measure the bioimpedance of each brain hemisphere separately, since acute stroke typically affects the hemisphere unequally. When an asymmetry is detected, the device will wirelessly transmit the data to the smartphone, and a notification will pop up warning the person that the stroke might just happen. This will prompt the person to answer a quiz for more assessment of the condition of the patient, for example, with the use of the camera and microphone to detect the typical symptoms of stroke, like my colleague mentioned. And after the assessment is done, a final score is generated, and if this indicates a sign of stroke, then help is sought automatically. And how this quantitative measure of bioimpedance proven to detect stroke? In this first study with animal models, the results demonstrated that the impedance spectra of stroke-affected brain significantly differed from healthy brain with radio frequency range. And the difference in impedance was further validated in a clinical study by a company called Cerebrotech, which you can see here is kind of bulky and not suitable for everyday use, where their device was able to distinguish severe stroke from other conditions with high diagnostic accuracy in pre-hospital conditions. Now my colleague will talk about our business model and comparable products.
One second, because I am muted. I'm resharing it. Yeah. So, thank you, Angelo. I would like to have a look about our competition. We found out after we did a research that the devices compared to the competition and compared to the device that listed in the last slide and other 2 devices in the market is going to be cheaper. And we have 2 main major points over the other devices. Our device is going to be personalized for each person. When he downloads the app is going to ask him few questions about himself, about his medical history, about his age, about his gender, to make sure the quiz is going to be personalized for him. And to add to that, our device is going to be 24/7 hour monitoring, especially at nights when the person is asleep and he doesn't really fear the stroke. Our business model and market. So our device is going to be go through through the insurance. It's going to be our main distributor, and it's going to be a monthly subscription of $100. We found out that there is around 5 million patients at risk right now in US and Europe, which comes up to $500 million per month. And we have a total available market of $6 billion a year. Our timeline, right now we believe we need around $2 million of funds to deduct the feasibility study and on patients and hospitalized patients after a stroke and TIAs. And after that, we will continue with our pivotal study and then sales. And to add to that, we believe that in the future, when our device is easy to use and easy to wear, we can expand our market to people that also have high risk factors, but didn't go through a stroke or a TIS. And this is our team. And thank you so much for your time. And I would like to hear your questions.
Great timing. Any questions?
Interesting approach. Quick question. If I understood it correctly, then the gadget needs to be worn the entire time. How do you change, let's say, from a beanie to glasses, or at night to something more suitable for nighttime?
Okay, so can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so
the others around you should mute. The other people around you should mute.
Yeah, he muted. Yes, thank you. So our device, the thing you put on is actually electrodes and sensors that you can it's like a sticker that you can stick to the back of your head. So it shouldn't be a problem to remove it from your glasses or your beanie and stick it to the back of your head when you're asleep.
And it can go anywhere on your skull, or does it have to be positioned at a particular point?
It has to have a specific direction, because we want to really differentiate between the left hemisphere of the right hemisphere. So it has to from say back to front or front to back direction. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Team number 4, can you share?
Yes, okay.
Great.
So you're seeing my presentation, right?
Not yet.
We are seeing black screen.
Black screen?
Double click to enter full screen mode.
Okay. Let me see. Share window close. I'm trying another way. You see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Hilding, and welcome to our team, Motion Safe. And our team provides solution for falling prevention for elderly people. Let's start. First, we will discuss the problem. After the market research, we find out that in US, there's 50 million people whose age is above 65, and 1 out of 4 people, for elderly people, fall every year. So in every 11 seconds, a person will fall, and in 90 minutes, there's like a fall-related death in the US. So the budget for that relates to the medical costs of falling have reached really high, $50 billion only in US alone. So our solution is to provide a gait analysis system that learns the patient walking pattern. Then we can determine the probability of falling in the future and give them recommendation to visit doctors or to do some exercise so that in the future, they won't be likely to fall. The way we achieve this is that our technology involves in-zone pressure sensor, the accelerometer, and a gyroscope so that we can record the patient gait daily. It's like how they walk and daily exercise. We analyze the data from the sensors with our AI system. We upload the data to the cloud, and here we have AI to recognize the abnormality in the walking pattern of the patients. Then we can show this to the family members to show the analysis to the family member. And if the patient have anything weird with their walking, then we alert the family member so that they can take care of their elderly. So we give them some recommendation to visit the doctor or to visit a physiotherapist to improve the elderly health. Our system have additional function is that we can have a lot of data from our user. After that, we run through machine learning to improve our existing system. So our systems can only be better and better with the more data we have. So our novelties are that we are able to forecast before the phone happens. Many solutions now on the market focus on reducing the damage from the phone or to alert the people around to see if the patient is falling, and we alert the people around. But we think that once the patient falls, it's hard to fix it because it's going to cost a lot and also reduce the health of the patient. And we understand that our patients are elderly people, so they are not expert in computer technology. We try to make our product as simple as possible so that they can just wear it on and we can integrate our product into their daily activities. For the market we have, we search for our competitor and we see that there are an application where you can implement it on an Apple Watch to detect if the patient falls and alert people around it. Other technology evolve in-zone sensor, but not for phone detection, but only for improving, for example, athlete performance. So they have like an in-zone pressure sensor to improve the athlete performance. And now we move to our business model. So our business model first, we would have initially, we reach out to the patient and their families who care for their elders. We can sell our product in the pharmacy so that the family can buy it. And then we also provide them with annual subscription plan so that we will analyze the data and they will pay for our subscriptions. Once we have a large pool of data that we can analyze and we prove that our product provide very good solution and result, we can sell it to like insurance company so that the insurance company can reimburse our product. So that, for example, the family, if they use this one, they will have a reduction in their insurance plan or something. So that is our business model. And welcome to our team. Our team involves really great people. And so it's me, Hilden. I'm from Vietnam and I'm studying mechanical engineering in Technion. We have Gaia Levin. She's in biomedical engineering. And we have Ali Hamad. He's a medical intern doctor in Rambam. We have Tom Swager. He's from French and he's a machine learning specialist who is working in an AI lab in Technion. And we have our last member, Torma Yona. He's a physiotherapist who is working in a lab here in Technion and he has a lot of experience with falling and helping the patient in injury. So thank you very much for attending our presentation.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes. This type of people are falling again and again and again. So after 1 or 2 times, you don't need prediction. You know that the third time will come. And this is what I know. So, but you don't have any solution to this. So
yes, we are not focusing on that market.
Hugh, may I answer the question? So our prospect, we want to, first of all, to have this product as a normal screening for people who above the age of 65. So we want to detect the problem before even it happens. So we know that some portion of the elderly people are the recurrent fallers. And that's because they have also missed the train of the rehabilitation and the exercise and the recommendation. We want to reach it before there is something like reconditioning and massive loss of mobility. We want to address the problem, to detect it early before it happens, and that's our prospect.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to the next team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great.
Have ever before. Most likely you guessed what I'm going to talk about, migraine. Migraine is a primary headache disorder characterized by a recurrent headache that are moderate to severe, which is considered the leading cause of disability among all neurological disabilities or disorders. Migraine affects about 12 to 15 people worldwide. Only in US, it affects 40 million people. There is no cure yet, and it also affects women more than men. Our targeted group is adults who don't respond to medication or can't tolerate side effects or medication itself. Through our research, we find surprising articles that connect between baldness and migraine. According to it, a group of migraine patients who did a hair transplantation did not experience any attack after it. The main reason is unclear yet, but it is suggested that it is due to regeneration of the scalp tissue and stimulation of the peripheral nerves. In other study, we found that massage therapy, physiotherapy, and other manual therapies might be equally effective as migraine medications. Here we see the records, migraine patients who used to take drugs. After the procedure, they have a 100% symptoms reduction. In the study, we read a trial run in USA with participants ages between 24 and 65 who got massage therapy for migraine experienced mean pain intensity that is reduced by 71%, while the control group mean pain intensity was unchanged. We know that migraine affects blood flow in brain, resulting in stimulating pain centers, which is a neurological activity. So we thought about a device that combines between acupuncture, inspired by the hair transplantation article, and doing mechanical stimulation all over a headband, aiming to improve blood flow in brain and thus reducing migraine pain.
Yeah, so competition. We have a few advantages against the other products that already existed on the market. So as you see, non-invasive methods have less effective, thermal vestibular stimulator have less user-friendly, and electronic headband both of these disadvantages. Next slide, please. What about business model? Well, these calculations only first try, but for now we have available market in theory about $100 million for few years. Next slide. About budget, we make for 2 years, we make a short program that includes salaries for team, consultants, hardware, patents, trials, etc. And together it makes about $3 million as a first money that we need for this project. The next slide, please. And timeline and milestones. Well, of course, first of all, we should make a workable example, MVP. And to the end of the first year, we should begin FDA analysis. After that, after we pass this check, we begin animal trials and clinical trials for our device consequently. And after that, we, in theory, can get FDA approval and begin the sales. And at the top, you can see potential money that we can earn after 4 years. Next slide, please. Our team. I am Arseny Belousov. You heard Kamar Davadi, our friends Susan Shadi, Nizan Gorani.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes, if I remember correctly, you quoted a price per device of around, I think it was $10,000.
Yes, but you know, it's only really first numbers that can have no any connection to real numbers that we will get for the first product. It really depends on materials that we use, for technology that we should get for that, and many aspects that for now we cannot understand, for example. And this number just as a highest cost that we can understand for now.
Okay, but
that we can get.
Do you think that this is a price that people will be willing to pay?
No, of course not. This project should be, and we hope it would be, in the collaboration with doctors and with clinics. It's this cost. It's the cost for clinics to use this device. I mean, it's for many times use. It's not for one human just to use it once and then to trash. No. It's many times for many years, at least 5.
Okay, thanks.
The basic technology is mechanical stimulation and needle stimulation. And if I understood it correctly, so there are all kinds of products like this in the market. Am I wrong?
You're right, but our product, it's a collaboration of few technologies, and for now there is no NLX on the market for today.
What are the technologies? Needle, mechanical, something else?
At least needle and mechanical. I think it would be more complicated technology. For now, it's a good question what technologies exactly should be inside.
Thank you very much. Team 6, please.
Yes.
And Cheryl, Team 5.
You see my screen now?
Yes. It's
okay.
White.
So yeah, 2020 has been overshadowed by COVID, definitely. And we are now at a place where we seek for immunity. So everyone wants to get vaccinated and train his immune system for targeting COVID. But what if your immune system is not reliable? What if it turns against you, if it attacks your own body by mistake? That's what's happening in multiple sclerosis, or MS for short. Your own immune system attacks your own brain cells, leading to devastating outcomes like movement impairments or vision loss.
Melissa, I have a feeling that this is not your presentation. I'm sorry.
It is.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm Melissa. I'm part of MR Ideal. And we are trying to implement an artificial intelligence system for improving multiple sclerosis diagnosis. So the disease is common, and noteworthily, it affects young people mostly. There's no cure, and it is really important to focus on early diagnosis. So we have 200 cases weekly diagnosed in the US, summing up to 90 per 100,000 inhabitants suffering from MS in the US. It costs about $28 billion per year to treat and diagnose MS patients. So our idea is to combine several important biomarkers for MS. So brain and spinal MRI scans that will be automatically segmented by our system serve as a basis for the diagnosis. Furthermore, another MR model will focus on the optic nerve especially, because the optic nerve is inflamed in early disease stage. We will also include genetics or genomic data because there are certain risk factors for MS that do not cause the disease, but drive it. So our solution really tries to focus on early diagnosis, and we want to create a data set and collaborate with hospitals to gain all of those data and really implement all of those information into one system. The problem is with algorithms that try to solve this now is they only focus on brains and not on the additional information. They're also not integrated into the clinical workflow yet. So doctors work with this picture archiving and communication system called PACS, but the system or the systems that are available are not integratable into this. So there are some systems basically available, but people don't use it. So our idea would be to target this to this PACS system and really make it into practice. And what we try to focus on is to try to integrate various biomarkers into our system to really have a lot of information about the patient. So our strength is clearly that we have a clear picture of the patient's health and that it's integratable into the clinical workflow. We also have multiple factors that we consider for diagnosis. A potential weakness could be that we need to gain physicians' readiness, but if it's implemented into their workflow already, they could potentially use it quite easily. Potential threats could be that there is something on the market already called Lesion Quant by Cortex Lab. But as I have mentioned, it is only brain they are focusing on, and it is not implemented into the workflow. So basically it is available, but not used at all. Clinicians still use manual segmentation of MS lesions and do not use this tool. So our opportunity would be to have a real early diagnosis with our tool because we implement several data sets. We also have more accurate prognosis because we know more about the patient's health than just have the MRI scans of the brain. So this is our business model. I will quickly talk about this. We plan to use or provide a basic subscription, including updates and maintenance. We will first focus on the US market because they are potentially more open to AI implications than the Europe market, but we want to target the world market in the future. Furthermore, we have a certain time saving for clinicians because diagnosis is much faster and much more accurate. We will also try to target other diseases and connect them or connect the MR images with genetics, which is really new in this field. And also, this could be also important for Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy, schizophrenia, or other diseases in the future. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy to take questions now.
Thank you very much. Excellent time.
You would like to sell it to hospitals? Why does the hospital care about early detection of something? This is number one. And number two, who is this patient that already has all of this task of MRI and everything? So from where you are going to get this data?
Yeah, so for the data aspect, this is a problem that you're pointing at, but MR images are done regularly for MS patients, so they are available. Optic neuritis can also be checked by MR. So this would be just an add-on with the same data set. And for the genomics, yes, this is not usually done, but this is like rather low price nowadays. So you can sequence or you can detect SNPs for $100, like your whole SNPs or your whole genetic variants for $100. So it's not a big issue to gain the data, I would say. And yeah, what the potential benefit for the hospitals could be is that there is a definite time saving. I mean, clinicians spend about 20 minutes usually to only segment the lesions, and following the lesions over time is more time consuming even. So the interest of the hospitals could be that clinicians save a lot of time with that.
Along the lines of the early diagnosis, are there better treatment options available, or what good is it for a patient to know earlier that they suffer from MS?
Yeah, so in MS, it's important that the treatment is started as early as possible because then possible damage to the brain can be like at least slowered. Yeah, and it's really important to know as much as possible about the disease progression, because treatment is now altered depending on disease prognosis. So the clinician will decide differently if yeah, the disease is progressing faster or slower.
So you also continuously monitor the progression of the disease, not only do the early diagnosis.
Yes.
Could I ask, please? My camera is waxed.
Thank you very much. Team 7.
Yes.
Another question, I'm sorry. 1 minute.
Yeah. Actually, the second time.
We don't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now?
A bit better.
Okay. So I wanted to ask about the business model and about the subscription model that you have there. So the subscription, I could not fully understand from the slide. Is per patient or it's periodical for the hospital? How does it work? And how did you get to the number of how many dollars they would be willing to pay?
Yeah, so we know from this other company that I've pointed to that they charge per scan, which is really high because, I mean, you have to analyze a lot of scans for every patient even, and you have a lot of patients per hospital. And so our product would be a monthly subscription, and you can pre-process and process as many scans as you want to.
Okay, and do you have any idea of the sensitivity and specificity, or, you know, how efficient is this test going to be in your mind in detecting early MS?
Yeah, so for brains, the algorithms are really good, so like 98%, but it is not only the brain that is affected by MS, that's the thing. So yeah, and for spinal cord, or if we also include spinal cord, optic neuritis and genetics, this would improve it even more, and also really shift the diagnosis to an earlier disease stage.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Team 7.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, but it's not in presentation mode.
Yes, and now can you see?
Yes, but it's not the best mode. We can see 2 slides.
No problem. How about now?
Perfect.
Okay. So my name is Ran, and our team came up with pressure ulcer prevention, which we called ULCA. And the challenge was very overlooked. It's a condition that is an overlooked pressure ulcers mostly. I came across it when I saw the ineffective care against them while my parents worked with nursing homes. So the healthcare teams in nursing homes and in hospitals have to labor to move around the patient from one side of the bed to another and change their position. And the current solutions for these problems are very ineffective. We came up with an EMS device, electric muscle stimulating device to prevent the formation of muscle ulcers. So a little more about those muscle ulcers and why is it important to prevent them. So most pressure ulcers are preventable. The US spends about $26 billion a year to treat them, and approximately 2.5 million individuals develop complications, and it can develop even within 2 to 6 hours, and you need to constantly care to a patient in order to relieve the pressure on their body to prevent these ulcers to occur. Our solution, our EMS device, the electric muscle stimulation, will stimulate the muscles in the patient's back. Under him, we put our muscles patches, which will send electric signals to his muscles to contract them. The contraction will relieve the tissue pressure and improve regional blood flow in those areas, which will, in the end, prevent the occurrence of those pressure ulcers. We came across some studies who used this technology, but didn't have the product that we were using. They used electrodes to deliver 10 seconds of stimulation every 10 minutes to minimize muscle fatigue with the various frequencies and pulses with the current amplitude of 1 milliampere. Our competition includes mostly air mattresses and pressure mapping technology, which mostly comes to be at our market cost or even more. We are cheaper, and our product will be a portable product and friendly, which will be having these added benefits. So everyone can use it in the hospital. It doesn't require a team of nurses or a healthcare staff to move this patient, just to apply this and operate this device. And we are not limited by the weight of our patient.
All right, I'm going to speak about the market and what our venue is into the American market. Basically, there is a worldwide market, which we want to get to at the end, but it's easier to define a specific path into the American market that will be successful. Because in America, there's around 670,000 patients every year in hospitals that develop these pressure ulcers. And it has been estimated that it costs each one of these patients $43,000 per ulcer that they get there. So there is a lot of money being spent in the hospitals to prevent or to treat these ulcers. And we want to tap into that market by reducing the amount of ulcers created. Now, there's a chance in the hospitals of up to 38% of patients developing an ulcer. Now, our business model is not there. There is an American market which has 920,000 beds, hospital beds, because right now the competition, they usually specify that they're working in beds, like they put mattresses in beds. So we're looking at the bed. Now, there's a scale, there's a table that is asked for when a patient is admitted into the ICU or any hospital, that basically gets the risk that they are of developing ulcers. So we can multiply the amount of beds that exist by the amount of people that are at risk to prevent those people from actually getting the ulcers beforehand. So we estimate that there's like 413,000 units that will be needed within a year, and that'll give us around $62 million. Now, there's also some grant money that goes into research for these ulcers, and we have some other options for spending for like patches and other things that are sold separately. Now, our timeline is around when we start now, which would need around $1 million to get started. Then we can move forward and get our clinical testing and FDA approval. Since we're looking in America, we want to get started on that. There is another technology which we're basing ours off of. So they already have the FDA approval that we can reference and make it go quicker. So we should be done within like 2-3 years, and we just need like $10 million so that way we can get to sales in the American market.
You need to finalize.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were just starting in the hospital market, and then from the hospitals, we can just go to nursing homes. There's a lot more options from there, but once we get started, that's all. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Are those patches reusable, or are they one-off use? And the second question, how difficult are they to apply?
We are planning on the patches to be consumable and not reusable because we are concerning with the patient hygiene while they are stick to his body. And it will simply be sticked on the patient. The initial appliance will be requiring the patient to be moved around, but after that, we plan to eliminate the need to move the patient further, and the device will do it for us.
So how often you will need to replace it? Like
we'll test that, but I assume, however, the sheets of the bed are being changed, so this device will be changed, the patches will be changed.
3 questions, quick questions. Number 1, are you familiar with all the solutions for this kind of problem, like beds that are changing the place of the pressure by in automatic way every few minutes? I don't know. This is number 1. It exists in many places. Number 2, the problem is not necessarily in the back. It could be in the leg or in several areas in the body, all the places that touch the bed. So you would like to cover the patient with these EMS patches. Number 3, there are EMS producers, there are hundreds of thousands or thousands in the world. How you can enforce your technology, because everybody $50 and can use it. How you can protect your technology?
Well, first of all, the fact that there are other competitors, I said that they are mostly ineffective. Most of those products are only 40% effective on preventing pressure ulcers. In addition to that, they are mostly immovable and not non-portable, and our device will cover that market area to be easier to use. Second of all, those areas of the heels and other areas of the body, we plan on having the device multiple patches that they connect to him, and it will be programmed to send electrical currents, different electrical currents to different parts of the body, depending on our need. And as for the other competitors and protect our assets, we're still thinking about that, because our solution comes from the application and of the device and the patches and how we're gonna implement them.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Okay, team 8.
Okay, so we are rediscovered, and we'll talk about drug repurposing. So, wait, here. Let's start with figures. Developing a new drug costs more than $2.5 billion and takes more than 13 years until they get the FDA approval. These numbers are huge, and we need to find therapeutic approaches to find we need to find a way to find new therapeutic approaches to existing diseases faster and at a lower price. Now, here the concept of drug repurposing gets into the picture. Drug repurposing is finding new indications to existing drugs. Now, whereas the current solution is mainly done by trial and error basis or by mistake, we offer a more structured solution. What we want to do is develop a platform that using traits from existing drugs, including underlying similarities, traits of the diseases, and information from the patients, and using AI, we will find new indications to existing drugs, and complying with the frontiers of the research in this field, actually find new indications to combination of existing drugs. Now, actually during the day, one of the models that we use has been trained. You can see the loss function that is getting better and better. This is using an open source project for this topic. Now, this venture is lying in a very appealing place in terms of the market. On the one hand, the drug repurposing market is estimated in $31.3 billion with an annual growth rate of 5%. And AI drug discovery is approximately $830 million, but with annual growth rate of 40%. Like, this is crazy. And our solution is right in the intersection of these two markets. As we see the market, we find three major players. There are the pharma companies, the health insurance companies, and research institutes. How are we going to tackle the market? So we are here at Q2 of 2021. After we get money, we plan to develop a POC that we are going to present to research institutes, and hopefully they are more tolerant and more innovative. So they will help us to make our platform better. We plan to have at least one design partnership by the next quarter with a research institute. Then we plan to work with this design partner and trying to work with a health insurance company. In Israel, it might be Kupat Holim, for instance. This is very useful for us as we might get something which is very, very beneficial. This is data from patients, of course, anonymized, but this is very, very useful. And in return, they will use our platform. And then in the end, the timeline here is just for 1 year. We will approach the pharma companies that they are the customer that we want to sell license to the platform after we have some experience and with the research institutes and health insurance companies. So before finishing, this is our team. We have Elias from the Technion, Adi from Technion, Leah from TUM, Finn from Eindhoven, and I'm from Technion as well. So thank you.
answer.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I hear you well.
Okay, it's very nice. And my question is, what is your advantage, your team's advantage versus, let's say, a group in a pharma company of 5 scientists that do AI? What can you do that they can't do?
Yes, well, this is a great question. But as far as I see things, AI group in a pharma company is AI group in a pharma company. We are trying to develop a core AI company with more than 5 numbers, like with a large number of researchers in this specific field. This is like one thing. The other thing is that along the way, we want to get some data that they probably don't have, like the partnerships that we are designing with the health insurance. So we might have across the way, along the way, some advantages regarding the data that we have access to and they don't.
Thank you.
Just to continue, to continue on what Efrat was asking, do you think that what you presented as a technology, do you think that it's patentable?
Well, the methods, the algorithm, I think are patentable. Like using this like algorithm and using these methods, I think that
ideas like this already exist. I mean, using AI.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes,
so
of course,
what's the novel thing here?
Yeah. So the novelty is right now most solutions like don't tackle the problem of finding combination of drugs. Okay, and I think that although now frontiers in research do try to do it, but I believe that there is like it might be very interesting, specifically in like tackling some diseases like cancer, so where one might need combination of drugs, and this field is like a green field, and I think that one must have really top-notch AI researchers to like with good understanding of biomedical. So this combination will be in our venture and not necessarily in other places.
All right. So let's assume your AI has found a promising candidate. How do you verify that it actually does what you predict it's doing?
Yes. So I believe that at this point, probably the partnership with Research Institute is going to be very beneficial, as they can use like they can carry out the preclinical trials in animals and so on. And probably like they will, like the clients will do the clinical trials and the preclinical trials. Elias, I believe you want to add?
Yeah, it's important to note that what we are going to develop is to find the most suitable candidate in a family of maybe thousands of combinations and drugs that would be beneficial and suitable for a certain cancer. So if we give the research institutes or pharmacological companies a pool of, let's say, 10 or 5 suitable drugs instead of thousands, it would be beneficial for them.
Two questions. Number one, I assume that you are speaking about generic drugs, because if it is ethics, then you need, it's belong to somebody. You cannot use the drug without agreement with the company that produced it, and this is very complicated. Number two, when you are speaking about repurposing, I assume that you are speaking about the FDA channel. It calls 505(b)(2), but this channel is for one drug. When you would like to take 2 drugs, you need also to prove that there is no interaction between them. When you are taking 3 drugs, the combination now it's much larger than studies that you will need to show are very, very significant, and you are losing all the idea of going quickly to the market. Are you familiar with the regulatory pathway?
Yeah, excuse me, Baruch.
Please, Elias.
The combination of drugs are more suitable to the cancer field, to the cancer drugs. They're usually they take dual drug to provide synergetic effects. And of course, we are talking about generic drugs in particular, because they are it's possible to give them out, and mostly we will be in regular fields. We will be focusing on regular one drug treatments, but in certain fields like cancer, we will be focusing also on the dual drugs.
Thank you.
Additional questions?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Team 9.
Maya. Okay, so you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what is the first thought that pops into your mind when you wake up in the morning? For me, for example, I think about all the tasks I have to do throughout the day, but I have a friend that she thinks about the IV she needs to get in the hospital today. So each one with his thoughts. So hi, my name is Maya, and I'm from Team 9, and we want to present you a better solution for an MS patient, to improve the MS patient's life. So what's an MS? Multiple sclerosis. It's a disease which in the patient's immune system attacks the nerve cells in his body. And the patient may lose the ability to do basic functions such as walking, standing, stability of the body, and etc. So as you can see here, the MS is quite spread around the world, and that's why it has major importance for us to find another solution, a better solution. So the MS includes a variety of symptoms. So that's why each patient should be treated differently according to his symptoms. The most common treatment right now is an IV of a biological drug. However, the IV of biological drugs has many disadvantages. For example, it requires a hospital visit every time. So you waste your money, you waste your time, you expose yourself to another disease in the hospital. So we would like to represent a new solution, a better solution. So hear us out.
Yes, thank you very much, Maya. Maya just told you about the need of our solution, and we came up with a unique drug delivery system. For example, our goal was to reduce the amount of time that patients have to spend in hospitals to get the IV treatment. So what we propose is a new drug delivery system that delivers those biological drugs directly through the skin. Literature research showed us that this has also already been done and achieved via transdermal microneedle array. So what is new about this technology is that antibodies and large molecule peptides that are used for MS treatments have not yet been delivered via the skin in clinical models or on the market. So we propose that this new system of using microneedles as a skin delivery system would benefit the patients. So with this innovative drug delivery system, we could drastically sorry, could you go back? Thank you very much. We could drastically save the time that patients have to spend in the hospital, which increases, which decreases the risk of hospital infections, which is very crucial for immunocompromised patients. So this would also be a very good selling point for the insurance companies. Another point would be the high patient compliance, because they could just use this technology at home with a patch, and this would also increase patients' physical and psychological stability, because patients with needle phobia would also benefit greatly from the system. Here you can see the basic structure of the system. The upper layer shows the skin. The challenge of this delivery system is to penetrate through the stratus corneum, like the really tough layer of the skin that usually keeps all the drugs and all the bad stuff out. So with this new technology system, we invented microneedles that penetrate directly into the matrix of the skin and can then deliver our incorporated antibody or the drug directly into the nerve and blood vessels, which is also a very good systemic delivery. We do that with biocompatible polymers, which do not create waste and are biodegradable. Yes, so for this innovative drug delivery system, we proposed the following model. We would like to find a pharmaceutical company, because we established that those are our basic clients. And we would like to sell our delivery system directly to the producers of the monoclonal antibodies or the therapeutic drugs companies. So we would like to start and to collaborate with big pharmaceutical companies that would fund us and fund our early research. Our advantage that we bring to the table is that we are very, very innovative. This is the advantage of every startup, that we have the innovation and the new idea, and also the strength and motivation to pursue it. And the benefit of partnering up with an experienced industrial partner like pharmacological companies is that they know the market and know how to invent the product and bring it to the market. Yes, and
you're over 5 minutes, so
okay,
push forward.
Yeah, really quick. So in our 5-year plan, we would like to get the funding from the pharmaceutical companies to create a prototype development. So we would use this technique to use a generic antibody against MS. This already, where the patent has already been expired, and be able to have clinical trials and have a proof of principle of this concept to deliver antibodies against MS to patients. Furthermore, we would also like to expand this technology to other diseases. For example, this technology is broad range. We could use this delivery system for all the diseases that use antibodies as a treatment option, for example, cancer or Lyme disease. And by that, we could make a huge profit and increase our market. So by this delivery system, we would like, and our goal is here, to increase patients' independence and freedom to be able to restore their daily lives, to be able to have the treatment in their home. And please help us to restore patients' independence. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. And
further questions, please feel free to ask me or my teammates.
Two questions. Number one, are you familiar with Neurodem that was sold to Mitsubishi, I think Medical, for $1.1 billion with microneedles for Parkinson, and many other microneedles companies all over the world, because it exists for many years. Number two, do you understand the regulatory pathway, injection to the skin? Then you need a regulatory process, very long regulatory process. Are you aware to this?
Yes, the good thing is that in our prototype development, we would use a generic antibody. For example, Mitlizumab is one that has expired the patent just last year, and it was used by the company Roche for MS treatment. So in our prototype, we would like to use this generic antibody that has already been approved by the FDA as MS treatment, so we could accelerate our clinical trial. and minimize the regulatory pathway by using generica.
Yes, but it was approved by IV and not through the skin.
Exactly.
It's completely different.
Yes, so this would be our proposition point. So this would be our novel technology that we bring to the market. Reduce the need for IV and make patients able to treat themselves at home under a doctor's supervision. So this would be the new innovation that we would bring to the market.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So on the business model, who has the interest here to pay?
Yes.
And how much and how is this working in the economical sense?
Yes. So our added profit would here be that the delivery system could, well, the pharmaceutical companies already have the drug and the pharmacy, and we would just provide the delivery model. So for the pharmaceutical company, they could then increase the prices of those drugs, and the customer would have the benefit of the home delivery system. And also the insurance companies would also have an advantage of covering this treatment because they could reduce the time that needs to be spent by patients in hospital, and therefore could also lower the cost of hospital staff and also decrease the risk of immunocompromised patients of suffering a infection caused by hospital hygiene. So there's also an advantage for the health insurance companies to cover our product because they will reduce the risk of infection for patients, and the patients have a higher compliance, and the cost is reduced by reducing the amount of staff and hospital care needed because patients do not need to go to the hospital.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the last presentation. 10?
Yes. One second. I will share the screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, great.
תשימי את זה על מצגת בפייסבוק. Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Carmine, and this is Ruth. I think if I were to take a poll of everyone in this meeting, a common phobia would be the fear of dentists. I think we can all identify with the anxiety of seeing a notification pop up on your phone about an upcoming dental appointment, already anticipating the infamous screeching of the drill. Our team, Oral Detect, is a medical device based on optics and photonic principles, an at-home early caries detection system. According to the Global Burden of Disease study in 2017, it's estimated that oral diseases affect close to 3.5 billion people worldwide, with caries of permanent teeth being the most common disease. Untreated caries can lead to extreme pain, infection, abscess, or tooth loss. With early detection, it's possible to save tooth structure and avoid invasive treatments such as root canals, extractions, and restorations, all of which can be painful, time-consuming, and costly to the patient. A bit of medical background. Dental caries occurs as a result of the interactions between acid-producing bacteria on a tooth and carbohydrates. These acids demineralize the tooth's enamel and dentin and begin to form cavitated lesions. Our device is an at-home monitoring system designed to identify dental caries at its earliest stage. The device consists of a two-pronged scanner and an app that measures, records photographs, and transmits data. One prong emits near-infrared light of a specific wavelength, approximately 780 nanometers, and the other side is a sensor, the camera. Healthy tooth structure has little to no light reflecting, while decayed tooth structure, due to the excitation of bacterial byproducts, exhibits higher light reflection. Therefore, as the tooth is scanned, the light is dispersed into the site, and the light intensity level will register on the camera and ultimately onto the phone app. This early detection will alert patients to take extra care of the area so as to naturally arrest the caries through oral hygiene. At-home interventions such as prescription fluoride rinses can be recommended, which can even reverse caries.
So let's see who our competition is. For at-home care, we don't really have any competition, but there are some similar devices used in the dentist's office. There's the common tooth x-ray, which we all know, and there's a device called DiagnoCam. DiagnoCam is an optical intraoral sensor for caries detection, but it's used by the dentist in his office, and it's pretty pricey. So for Oral Detect, our product, we have precision, we have no ionizing radiation, it's cost effective, and it can be used at home. So let's look at the market we're entering. Today, dentists do many procedures every day that could be prevented if using preventative care measures, such as Oral Detect. And it's estimated that the average American spends between $500 and $700 every year on these kind of procedures, and the average family around $2,000. So if we add that all up for the entire American market, our total available market is around $210 billion. Let's talk about business. We estimate that our product will cost about $20 to produce per device. We plan to have an app that tracks user compliance and also does the image processing for a subscription fee of $10 per year, which is pretty reasonable. And our retail product itself will cost $150, and we plan to sell it in local pharmacies and drugstores. We also plan to cooperate with major dental hygiene companies to help with marketing and distribution. And also we plan to track the user's compliance, providing dental insurance rebates for regular users because of the reduce in dental fees that we project. Our timeline contains a few major steps. The first version of our product will be a handheld probe for individual tooth scanning, where the dentist can recommend to users which teeth are more prone to decay and scan those individual teeth. We want to prove our concept doing clinical studies where we will recruit high-risk patients that will be a better audience for the first version with the handheld probe, more prone to specific teeth. And then we plan to produce an advanced version, which is a scanner that sits inside your mouth, kind of like a retainer or a plate, which will scanning all of your teeth at once automatically. We plan to apply for FDA approval in the 510(k) track based on the technology that already exists in the DiagnoCam in the dentist's office. And we plan to cooperate with major dental hygiene companies that already sell products that the public already knows and uses and trusts, so that sell the things we all use, toothpaste and toothbrushes and dental floss. We plan to sell our product as a bundle with those other products as a package deal to promote it. This is our team, and thank you for listening. We're happy to take any questions for our team.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Interesting technology. With regards to the handheld device, how do you ensure that the entire or all of the teeth are basically covered and the person is not screening the gum or the tongue?
First of all, it's important to screen also the sort of the gum area, because there are some cavities and there are some caries that can be created in the area between the gum and the root. So it's also important to screen there too, and the tooth itself, of course. It's a handheld device, so it is dependent on the user performance, but it should be instructed by the dentist maybe beforehand. And
how the device identify that there is a problem during the screening?
So there's we emit a light in a certain wavelength they mentioned before.
which interacts with the bacteria that creates the cavity, that creates the carry, and when it's proportional to the amount of the bacteria. The more bacteria there is in the tooth area, the bigger the reflection. So the image that is created is proportional to the decay itself, as an image of the reflection in these certain areas. There is a difference between a healthy non-bacterial area and more bacterial area. And by using what is presented.
So you need to do it for a few hours after brushing, after cleaning?
Not necessarily.
So you do it 2 minutes after the cleaning. Okay.
It can be done anytime, I guess.
To continue the question, could you do it during brushing? Could you mount it on a toothbrush? So it's one procedure, daily procedure we all do anyway?
So we actually thought of this option to add this as an add-on on a toothbrush, but we thought that this procedure of caries development, it would take maybe 2 months for the situation to worsen. So we can think of such option, but as a first step, we can do it as maybe once a 2 week, a customer will check his teeth. That would be enough, but we can consider it as an option to add it to a toothbrush.
Thank you.
One important point is that this technology can detect cavities when they are still sort of lesions, where they are still in early stage. So when X-rays can detect the cavities only when it's severe, when it already penetrates the dentin area, when it's severe, when it's painful. So this technology can detect the situation when it's early, when it's reversible, and that's one of the major advantages of this technology.
Thank you very much. We are now, I will ask the judges to finalize the rating and submit their forms. We are also putting on the Zoom chat a Mentimeter link where you can all vote for your audience favorite. We will put it also on the Facebook, and we are waiting for your votes. So thank you all for taking part in this day. I would like to thank the mentors from the Eurotech Alliance universities, from the industry, and clinicians from Rambam Medical Center who joined us. I would like also to thank those who joined me organizing this event: Lilach Lorber, Zinat Awad, Oad Yaniv, Karin Geffen-Magiora, Chen Menachem, and Gadi Paran. Before we announce the winning teams, I would like to invite our sponsors from Philips, Biosense Webster, and NGT to congratulate our students. So we'll start with Efrat Shefer, the president of Philips Israel. Efrat, can you?
Sure, but it's going to take a little bit longer for me to send the email, but I'll...
No, so I'm not going to start with you. No.
Thank you.
Okay, Liat Soref, Director of R&D Collaborations and Acceleration at Biosense Webster.
Okay, thank you, Yael. And as Yael mentioned, I'm coming from Biosense Webster. We're based in Yokneam, just 20 minutes drive from the Technion, so not far away from you, at least those that are in Israel. And I can tell you, Biosense is dealing with the arrhythmias. And you know, innovation is at the core, it's in the heart of our business. Without innovation, the company would not have succeeded. So I'm very happy to see the activity here today in the Technion. It's exciting. The ideas that you came with and the way that you presented them are very professional, and again, very exciting. So congratulations to the students, congratulations to the professors. That's a great activity.
Thank you very much, Liat. Zohar? Zohar Gendler, Managing Partner, CEO of NGT Incubator.
First of all, thank you for everybody for the presentation and the work that you did. It is very challenging in one day to take a problem, to look for solution, to deal with all the issues of market, mapping, competitors, growth, need, IP, regulatory, plan, budget, human parts. It's not impossible, it's much more than impossible. So thank you for the work that you did. It's very important, you know, to this work and this challenging mission. It's very important for the next project. All the questions that I ask and the other participants ask are, you know, the target is to try to learn from everything that you're doing. I'm managing NGT, which is a small venture. The north of Israel. And I wish luck to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah. 1 minute, please.
Maybe in the meantime, I can say that I participated in a similar activity in your hackathon 2 years ago, before the corona. It was a very nice activity. I think that last year, I think that you did not have the hackathon, and for obvious reasons. And it's nice to see that today, although, you know, there was a long period of time of, you know, corona, still, you came up with this activity through Zoom. And not only that, the activity exists, is that you came up with a collaboration with students that are outside of Israel. So, you know, it's very nice to see that you, how we say, you turned the lemon into lemonade. So not only that we have that activity, but it's enriched by adding students outside of Israel. So that's very nice.
Thank you, Liat. I really feel the same, that we had the opportunity to have mentors around the world and students from other universities. And I think it was really, it really improved the event in a way. Efrat, thank you. We received your form, and can you...
Yeah, so now I can say a few words. So first of all, I always come out of those hackathons very optimistic, because I always am amazed at the way of thinking out of the box, original, innovative, and also the spectrum of different problems that we've seen today. From some very, very difficult disease that, you know, the world faces and doesn't know how to deal with, like Alzheimer, through models for pharma companies, to dental cavities, pain ulcers, it's all there. And a good friend of mine told me once, there is enough suffering for everyone in this world, so there's always going to be work to be done when it comes to healthcare. So I'm coming out of this very optimistic and excited. I join my colleagues in congratulating the organizers. Very well done. Can't believe it was done in one day, actually. I know you said it's the beginning and Zohar said it now, but to me it looked like it was done a lot, with a lot more time and effort in one day. And I think probably a very good learning experience for the student as well, because it's not just theoretical, but it really is kind of the business approach in it and all of those elements that I think are very, very important. The connection to the Technion, to Academy, to biomedical engineering is very important for us in Philips. We were very happy to contribute mentors also globally. And I think it enriched both the mentors and the students. So I think that's a good thing. I'm looking forward to continuing it in the next years. And biomedical engineers are taking a more and more important role in Philips, at least in Israel. Traditionally, they were only going to the clinical team. Now we are opening more and more positions, system engineering, others, and they're very, very successful. So whatever you guys are doing there in the training and education of those students, I think you're doing very well. They're coming out very, very strong for Philips. And we are welcoming students. We encourage students to reach out to the industry. We have all sorts of programs for students, community of students, etc. So we'll be happy to see all of those that can reach out to us, to other industries in Israel, in the medical. There's a lot to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I would like to return to the last stage of the evening. Thank you all for getting back here. I would like to invite Professor Chaim Azari, the Dean of the Technion Biomedical Engineering Faculty, to announce the winning teams. We'll put the presentation in a minute. Would you like to say a few words? And I think that you owe us an answer from the morning.
Yes. First of all, I would like to congratulate Yael and everybody who organized this meeting. It's a very interesting and wonderful thing. I think everybody learned a lot, 3 things at least. One, how to start a startup. The second one, what can imagination lead to? And most of all about himself. I guess everybody can learn about himself. Now I will go to the riddle, but by the time you send me the names of the winning teams, I will just recite the question that I asked you in the morning. Well, as a quick review, it was a rainy day. You were driving a car. You have only one available seat, and you pass by a bus station where you see 3 people that you know, an elderly person that you know that needs to get to the hospital, your neighbor, a doctor who saved your life, and a businessman with whom you've tried to set a meeting for a long time, but without any success. Now, what would you do? That was the question. And if you answered that you take some of them or one of them or whatever, you lost. The right question is as follows. You give the keys of the car to the physician and you ask him to drive the sick person to the hospital. And then the businessman is stuck with you for the next half an hour to talk about your startup. So that was the answer. Okay, I guess some of you solved it. Okay, I didn't receive any names yet. Or...
We are going to put it on the presentation. So simply put the presentation. We will start with the audience favorite. 1 minute, Lilach. Okay. So the audience favorite is a treatment for multiple sclerosis. It's team number 9. Robin Tom, Leon Nedlekev, Roy Sasson, Maya Goldschlager, and Amal Jeris. You will receive €300. We had 2 second places. One of them is team number 7, pressure ulcer prevention. Of the team of Yasmin Habib, Manon Van Vakrel, Ran Benayoun, Sliman Bamara, and Noach Barnatan. So you will receive €600. And a second place with the same number of votes for drug repurposing, the team of Leah Valvani, Elias Bisharat, Baruch Weitzman, Finn Timmerman, and Adi Daoud. And the first prize goes to dental caries detection. team number 10, team of Adi Alfasi, Amir Mashal, Ruth Potter, Karmit Kai, and Leo Elaluf Leviner, who will win 1,300 euro, divided to all of you. So thank you very much. I would like to congratulate the winners and to thank all the students that participate in the hackathon and created this amazing content to the event. We only provided the platform, and I really hope that you had a fruitful day, and really thank you all. Chaim?
Thank you. Okay, it's a long night. I guess everybody wants to go home now. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.